USS Philadelphia, a 1240-ton, 36-gun sailing frigate, was the second vessel of the United States Navy to be named for the city of Philadelphia. Originally named City of Philadelphia, she was built in 1798 to 1799 for the United States government by the citizens of that city. Funding for her construction was the result of a funding drive which raised $100,000 in 1 week, in June 1798. She was designed by Josiah Fox and built by Samuel Humphreys, Nathaniel Hutton and John Delavue. Her carved work was done by William Rush of Philadelphia. She was laid down about November 14, 1798, launched on November 28, 1799, and commissioned on April 5, 1800, with Captain Stephen Decatur Sr. in command. She was captured in Tripoli with William Bainbridge in command, and perhaps best remembered for a raid led by Stephen Decatur that burned her down. Service history: putting to sea for duty in the West Indies to serve in the quasi-war with France, she arrived on the Guadeloupe station in May 1800 and relieved the frigate Constellation. During this cruise she captured 5 French armed vessels and recaptured 6 merchant ships that had fallen into French hands. Returning home in March 1801, she was ordered to prepare for a year's cruise in the Mediterranean in a squadron commanded by Commodore Richard Dale. At his own request, Decatur was relieved of the command of Philadelphia by Captain Samuel Barron. The squadron arrived at Gibraltar on July 1, with Commodore Dale in the frigate President. Philadelphia was directed to cruise the straits and blockade the coast of Tripoli, since in May 1801 the Pasha Yusuf Karamanli had threatened to wage war on the United States and had seized U.S. merchant vessels for ransom. Philadelphia departed Gibraltar for the United States in April 1802, arriving in mid-July. In ordinary until May 21, 1803, when she recommissioned, having her 16 9-pounder long guns replaced with 16 32-pounder carronades at this time, and sailed for the Mediterranean on July 28, 1803. She arrived in Gibraltar on August 24 with Captain William Bainbridge in command, and 2 days later recaptured the American brig Celia from the Moroccan ship of war Merboka, 24 guns and 100 men, and brought them both into Gibraltar. Destruction: during the First Barbary War, Philadelphia, accompanied by USS Vixen, cruised off Tripoli until October 31, 1803. While giving chase and firing upon a Libyan Navy ship, it ran aground on an uncharted reef 2 miles, 3 kilometers, off Tripoli harbor. The captain, William Bainbridge, tried to refloat it, first laying the sails aback, and casting off 3 bow anchors and shifting the guns aftward, but a strong wind and rising waves drove her further aground. Next they jettisoned many of its cannons, barrels of water, and other heavy articles overboard in order to make it lighter, but this too failed. They then sawed off the foremast in one last desperate attempt to lighten it. All of these attempts failed, and Bainbridge, in order not to resupply the pirates, ordered holes drilled in the ship's bottom, gunpowder dampened, sails set afire and all other weapons thrown overboard before surrendering. The officers and men were made slaves of the Pasha. Philadelphia, which had been refloated by its captors, was too great a prize to be allowed to remain in the hands of the Tripolitans, so a decision was made to recapture or destroy it. The United States had captured the Tripolitan ketch Mastico, renamed her Intrepid, and re-rigged the ship with short masts and triangular sails to look like a local ship. A party of volunteers, led by Lieutenant Stephen Decatur, the son of Philadelphia's first master, was given the task. On February 16, 1804, under the cover of night and in the guise of a ship in distress that had lost all anchors in a storm and needed a place to tie up, Decatur sailed Intrepid next to Philadelphia. The Americans boarded the prize, and after making sure that she was not seaworthy, burned the ship where she lay in Tripoli harbor. Britain's Viscount Nelson is said to have called this feat the most bold and daring act of the age, but the authenticity of this quote remains in doubt. The crewmen captured in 1803 were released pursuant to the 1805 Treaty of Tripoli, which ended the war. Philadelphia's anchor was returned to the United States on April 7, 1871, when Mehmed Haleh Pasha, the Ottoman governor, presented it to the captain of the visiting Guerrier. Local account of the destruction: in 1904, Charles Wellington Furlong, an American adventurer, went to Tripoli to investigate the sinking of Philadelphia and later wrote of it in his book, The Gateway to the Sahara, Observations and Experiences in Tripoli, 1909. In this book the following account, based on records from a local synagogue, is given. Yusuf Pasha had equipped a number of corsairs. His captains, Zureg, Djihiz, Trez, Romani and El Mograbi, set sail from Tripoli and shortly sighted an American vessel, P. Philadelphia. Zureg left the others and daringly approached the ship, annoying her purposely to decoy her across the shoals. She stranded, but fired on the other vessels until her ammunition gave out. whereupon the Muslims pillaged her. The American consul, actually the Danish consul, Nissen, was very much disheartened and tried to conclude arrangements similar to those recently made between the Bashaw and the Swedish consul, but such an enormous tribute was demanded that no terms could be reached, so by order of the Bashaw the vessel was burned. Footnote 2. This of course was an erroneous idea. It may have been purposefully circulated through the town, particularly among the inhabitants other than Mohammedans. Furlong later reports in the same book, that he talked to other Arabs in Tripoli who said that the ship was not burned, but moved to the lazaretto where it was dressed up as a trophy and its guns used to call the end of Ramadan. According to the detailed account of Haji Muhammad Gabroom, an American ketch was able to sneak in, kill some of the 10 guards, cause the others to flee, then set the ship on fire. See also List of sailing frigates of the United States Navy. List of ships captured in the 19th century. Bibliography of early American naval history references. This article incorporates text from the Public Domain Dictionary of American Naval Fighting Ships. The entry can be found here. Bibliography. Canny, Donald L., 2001. Sailing Warships of the U.S. Navy. Chatham Publishing, Naval Institute Press. Page 224. ISBN 1-55750-990-5. URL Chappelle, Howard I., 1935, The American Sailing Navy, W. W. Norton and Company, New York, page 400. Cooper, James Fenimore, 1826. History of the Navy of the United States of America, Stringer and Townsend, New York, page 508, OCLC 197401914. URL Hill, Frederick Stanhope, 1905. 26 Historic Ships, G.P. Putnam's Sons, New York and London. pp. 515. OCLC 1667284. URL Kilmeade, Brian and Yeager, Don, 2015, Thomas Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates, The Forgotten War That Changed American History. Sentinel. New York, ISBN 978-1-59184-806-6. Mackenzie, Alexander Slidell, 1846. Life of Stephen Decatur. A Commodore in the Navy of the United States. C.C. Little and J. Brown, 1846. Toll, Ian W., 2006. 6 Frigates. The Epic History of the Founding of the U.S. Navy. W. W. Norton and Company, New York. pp. 500. ISBN 978-0-393-05847-5. URL Tucker, Spencer, 2004. Stephen Decatur. A Life Most Bold and Daring. Naval Institute Press, 2004, Annapolis, Maryland. Page 245. ISBN 1-55750-999-9. 1. Further reading London, Joshua E., 2011. Victory in Tripoli. How America's War with the Barbary Pirates Established the U.S. Navy and Shaped a Nation. John Wiley & Sons, Inc., New Jersey. Page 288. ISBN 0-471-44415-4. Book Oren, Michael B., 2007. Power, Faith, and Fantasy. Chapter 3. W. W. Norton and Company, New York. ISBN 0-393-05826-3. Willis, Sam, 2007. Fighting Ships, 1750 to 1850. Quercus Books, London. Zachs, Richard, 2005. The Pirate Coast. Thomas Jefferson, The First Marines, and the Secret Mission of 1805, Hyperion, New York. External links. Media related to USS Philadelphia, ship, 1799, at Wikimedia Commons. A journal kept on board the United States frigate Philadelphia, 1800 to 1801, MS 170, held by Special Collections and Archives, Nimitz Library at the United States Naval Academy.